of the stuff we've done with commas very, very briefly, and then you guys are going to spend a little bit of time working on a worksheet. This is stuff that you've already done on No Reading, so this is all review. It's nothing new. Additionally, the stuff we talked about yesterday with colons, that No Red Ink, you guys put your computers away, you won't need them. That No Red Ink is going to be due at 3:30 today. I assigned it yesterday, so you've had some time to work on it. So make sure that it's completed by 3:30 today.
I left it
thought
up
you
here.
said 4:30 yesterday.
Not have the chair.
I'm pretty sure you said 4:30.
What?
You were supposed to be gone, I thought.
For what?
I don't know, you're predestined out.
No, he's not.
No, I'm not. I never got a predestinate.
Okay.
Oh, you smelling
So we're going to
fresh.
review commas really quickly. If you wanted, make sure that you're on side 8. There's page 8 and page 9. We're going to start with page 8.
Hey, can I have? Oh wait, that's you.
You know, I might have.
Page 8 is commas between independent clauses. An independent clause is basically just like a sentence that can stand by itself. When we have two independent clauses in one sentence, we have to separate them with a comma and a fanboy. So you need to make sure that you do that, right? There has to be a fanboy after that comma. So, number 1, the example, look where that is. The pretzel was probably invented in the 7th century by monks, comma, and the children they taught loved the treat. So what is the first independent clause in that sentence? Brooke?
What sentence?
Can you follow along, please?
Nikes.
Sorry.
Nice. What's the first independent clause?
In number 1.
Uh-huh.
Take it
This
Logical place to
huge
start.
hairy beast.
easy.
Wait, which one are we on?
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to listen, please. Okay.
He wasn't in here when you said
Yes, he was.
No, it
no.
wasn't.
Yes,
no,
you
he
were.
was not.
Number 8. Okay, but also I
We're
read
on
the
number-
sentence.
I thought we were on number 1.
We are. We're on side 8.
Oh.
Okay. Number 1. I'm gonna read it one more time. The pretzel was probably invented in the 7th century by monks, comma, and the children they taught loved the treat. So what's the first independent clause? Brooke.
The pretzel was probably invented in the 7th century by monks.
Good. So we put a comma there, and then we have a fanboy. What's the second independent clause, Ephraim?
And the children, and the children they taught loved the treat.
No.
Oh, and the children.
No.
And the children they taught loved the treat.
Read that one more time.
The children they taught loved the treat.
Good. And is not part of the independent clause. It's just there to make sure we can separate them with a comma.
Don't.
Okay? Now, when you do these, I want you to circle the comma. So for number 2, it says, the first pretzels were soft and doughy, but today we also eat and enjoy the hard, crispy ones. So, let's see. Lane, where does the comma go? After what word?
Eat.
No.
Yeah.
That's the last word.
Oh, the con.
Where does the comma go?
Soft after soft.
Nope.
Look up on the board.
I'm going to read the sentence again. Listen. The first pretzels were soft and doughy, but today we also eat and enjoy the hard, crispy ones. Where's the comma go?
Doughy.
After doughy. So put the comma after doughy and circle the comma. I want you to circle the commas when you put them in because I can see them a lot easier. Okay? And I don't think it's just some random mark on your paper. So make sure you circle your commas. On side 8, there are 8 commas between questions 2 and 9.
8?
So you're going to mark
So
8
that
commas.
one's already,
No,
because that's
That counts.
got a
Nope.
question.
There is 1 comma per sentence
On which one?
Then how come we don't put one there?
because that's not an independent clause. That's not a complete sentence. We're just separating the 2 complete sentences. Okay? I don't have to phone page. So make sure that you're circling the commas. You're separating the 2 independent clauses. Understand that one? There's 1 comma per sentence on side 8. Flip it over to side 9.
How many?
My pen broke.
8. 1%.
Then I pressed down.
On side 9, we're doing commas in a series and commas to separate adjectives. We've still done this. We've done this already. This was your first no reading assignment. When you have a list of items in a sentence, there has to be 3 or more. You separate those items with a comma. Okay? For example, we had pizza, comma, soda, comma, and s'mores at the end of the year celebration. Okay, this is all review. All right? The second part of this is that we are separating multiple adjectives with commas. For example, the big bad wolf destroyed the little pig's house. We have to separate those two commas because they both describe the same noun. Remember, if you can put a fanboy in place of that comma and it makes sense, then the comma needs to be there. So the big and bad wolf destroyed the little pig's house. That still makes sense, so that means a comma should go there. If the sentence goes like this, the 3 yellow flowers bloomed overnight, we can't put and in between those two adjectives because then it would read, the 3 and yellow flowers bloomed overnight. And that doesn't make sense. Okay, so if in doubt, use that rule to help you decide. There are 12 commas on page 9. There are 12 commas on page 9. When you mark these commas, please circle them. If you don't circle them, I'm not going to count it right. Okay? Yes. Thank you. Oh, brother, where art thou? Yesterday we talked about allusion for a little bit, which is a reference to something else famous. Oh, brother, where art thou? Has anybody seen that movie?
Yes.
It's a good movie, okay?
Yeah, it is.
It's actually based on the Odyssey. Okay? The whole movie is based on the Odyssey, the
Is
baseball
it?
story. So like the guy with the eye patch is a Cyclops. The women that are singing to them in the river, those are sirens. Every single thing in this movie, pretty much, not everything, a lot of things in this movie allude or are an allusion to the Odyssey. Okay, so we're going to watch parts of this as we read the story because they line up very well. We're on page 370 in your books if you did not get there yet. We're going to go ahead and start reading today. But we're going to fill in the characters for book 1 first. So make sure you're on your character page. We already talked about Odysseus. We know that he's the main character of the story. He's the ruler of Ithaca. We know that he is very cunning and very smart and very sly. And we also know that he is favored by the goddess Athena. Okay, he's our main character. He is our tragic, epic hero. Now the next character is the muse.
Oh, what?
Muse. It's the second one on your list. These go in order of appearance. Okay. The muse is a daughter of Zeus. Make sure you have that down.
Wait, what was the first one that you were talking
We talked about Odysseus already.
about?
I just reiterated about Odysseus.
So Muse is the son of, or daughter.
Daughter of Zeus. And now a muse is someone who is responsible for inspiration. So if someone calls you their muse, that means you have been their inspiration. So you need to put that a muse is responsible for inspiration. They inspire people to do things. A lot of times there are muses for music and art and dance. A lot of times it's, like fine art stuff or performance things, stuff to do with art. So all you need for muse is that it's the daughter of Zeus and that they are responsible for inspiration.
I already got it. I'm just waiting. I can't.
Don't work on it right now. The third one. We have muse down here.
Do you want me to take off the point for every comma?
No, just check it wrong if it's not right.
Don't like Adam.
The third one is Helios. Now sometimes Helios and Apollo are used interchangeably because Apollo is the god of the sun. Helios in the Odyssey is the actual sun. He is personified as the sun. So what you need to put here is that he is the sun god. Helios is responsible for making the sun rise every day. He has this chariot, and he rides in his chariot, and he pulls the sun up over the horizon.
So does Apollo.
Yeah, they're interchangeable. They are different in this story, but sometimes they're the same person. So you need to know that he's the sun god.
Helios is the son of.
Helios.
Helios and Apollo.
Never heard of him.
You also need to know that he raises cattle on the island of
The sacred cow.
Thrinacia.
Hey, that's
Make sure you write that down.
Aren't they
He
like
raises
poisonous?
cattle.
No, it's Riley's board.
You need to fill out your note sheet.
I thought
because
they
that's a
were
grade.
like.
I lost it.
I'm going to give you one more, and I'm not going to give you another one.
Yeah, 4.
I thought one of
So
them.
when you don't hand it in and I give you a 0, I'm not going to feel bad.
So is
Okay.
this just
On
another
island,
name
what?
for Apollo?
Thrinacia, right there. Sometimes. It's a little more complicated than
I
that.
thought he had like some weird sheep, man-eating sheep that had
No.
fleece and stuff.
Helios raises cattle on the island of Thrinacia. Thrinacia is right here. If you don't know how to spell that.
I don't
Okay,
know
he
what
plays a
it
big
does.
part in Odysseus' journey home. Remember, the Odyssey is all about Odysseus trying to get back to Ithaca after the Trojan War is over. Odysseus played a really big role in the Trojan War. What was his idea? The horse, the Trojan horse.
That was his idea?
Huh?
I thought it was some other guy.
Nope, that was his idea.
By any chance, could this actually be like kind of a true story? Like, would this actually be his idea?
Probably not.
What
I
if
mean,
it
it was
is
somebody.
Maybe
it
he
is.
just came up with someone's name.
I do not know. I was not there. The next one is Zeus. Who's Zeus?
The sun?
God
of
of
the
the
gods.
He is the god of the gods, or the king of the gods.
Lightning.
However you want to put it is fine, as long as you know that he is the ruler of the gods.
Wait, not
He makes all the decisions.
Hermes is the god of lightning.
No,
No,
Hermes
Zeus
is
is
the
the
god
god
of
of
thieves and messages.
Zeus is god of lightning.
But you're not
Hermes
saying
is the god of messages.
Well,
and
that's
stuff.
not
He's the best at tweeting.
Okay, so Zeus is the king of the gods. Then we already talked about Telemachus. Who's Telemachus?
From
Son of Odysseus.
Odysseus' son.
That's
Okay,
right.
good. Telemachus is Odysseus' son. He's starting to grow up.
he's like 20 years
might get
old.
killed. I don't know. We'll see.
He does get killed.
Hey,
Don't
stop.
spoil.
I said I don't know. We'll see.
He does.
Yeah, but then you gave us that look of he's definitely gonna die.
You're gonna
You don't know.
don't
Then
know.
we have
Actually,
Penelope.
we're
Ray,
spoilers.
who's Penelope?
Oh,
Spit food
wait.
die.
I have it in the back.
PSM recording class, just so you're aware.
That's fine. Okay.
Who's Penelope?
You're recording.
Wait, you're
live.
recording.
What? The wife of somebody.
Whose wife?
Odysseus.
Odysseus' wife. Good. Penelope is Odysseus' wife. Now, what is her main good characteristic?
She convinces me.
She is
No, she's loyal to her
She's
husband.
very, very loyal to her husband. She's very faithful. Okay? Good. That's all we're going to fill out for characters for today. That's all we need to know from book 1. Now, what you need to know about the prologue is that it is essentially, or the book 1 is that it is essentially a prologue. It's basically an introduction to the story. So we're going to read book 1. It's not very long. And the narrator is going to talk about someone, and we're going to try to figure out who he's talking about.
Who can I be?
Book 1 is on page 371.
Ooh.
Book 1 is called A Goddess Intervenes. Okay, here we go. Sing in me, muse, and through me, tell the story of that man skilled in all ways of contending. The wanderer, harried for years on end after he plundered the stronghold on the proud height of Troy. Who is the narrator speaking of?
Zeus.
Yes,
Oh,
Odysseus. What?
Can we read?
Not today, but eventually. Okay, the narrator is talking about Odysseus. Now we're going to answer this question next. What is the narrator saying about Odysseus and his men, and what is the cause of their hardships? Okay,
They
so this
are.
next part says, he saw the townlands and learned the minds of many distant men, and weathered many bitter nights and days in his deep-hearted sea, while he fought only to save his life, to bring his shipmates home. But not by will nor valor could he save them, for their own recklessness destroyed them all. Children and fools, they killed and feasted on the cattle of Lord Helios, the sun, and he who moves all day through heaven took from their eyes the dawn of their return. Ray,
He's referencing to something like later in the book about their crew getting killed.
okay? What does he say? Whose fault is all of their hardships?
Hymns.
The gods. Nope.
Odysseus.
Nope.
Poseidon.
I just want to read.
Okay, I'm going to read this part again.
The-
But not by will nor valor could he save them, for their own recklessness destroyed them all.
Their own reckless.
It's their own fault. They made a lot of stupid decisions, okay? A lot of the trouble they get into is because Odysseus' crew members made some really bad decisions. For example, one of their bad decisions is that what did they do to Helios' cattle? They ate them. They fried up some
Hey, what's
burgers.
that word when it?
Hey, I like
burgers.
burgers.
Aren't they?
Mutiny.
They're sacred cattle.
They are sacred cattle, so they eat Helios' sacred cattle.
Oh,
Now
they're
that
gonna
makes
die.
him really mad, okay? So Helios makes a promise that those people will never see the shoreline of their home again. Okay, so that's one of the things that's one of the stupid decisions they make. And they knew what they were doing. They knew it was Helios' cattle.
Oh,
Okay.
well, them guys are terrible.
It's like
I know. They
Wait,
did not
why are
think
you
that-
telling
They
us?
remind me of Mushroom Town.
So this introduction is basically just saying that, first of all, the muse, why would he ask for a muse's help? What does he need help with?
Inspiration.
Inspiration to do what?
what to do.
Ray. Inspiration to do what?
Get home.
No. The narrator needs inspiration to what?
Tell a story.
Tell Odysseus his story. Good. Okay, so he's asking for inspiration for help telling the story, and then he explains how Odysseus could not get home and could not get his crew members home because they made some really dumb decisions. One of them being eating Helios' cattle. Okay? So that's essentially, that's book 1. The last little part says, of these adventures, Muse, daughter of Zeus, tell us in our time, lift the great song again.
Why do I, whenever I see Muse, I want to call it Moose?
I don't know. So, we're going to hear the story of Odysseus, okay?
Yeah.
Will someone read that
I do.
italicized paragraph for me?
The story
Lane.
about this.
Story of Odysseus begins with the goddess Athena appealing to Zeus to help Odysseus, who has been wandering for 10 years on the seas, to find his way home to his family on Ithaca. While Odysseus has been gone, his son Telemachus has grown to manhood, and his wife Penelope has been besieged by suitors wishing to marry her and gain Odysseus as well. The suitors have taken up residence in her home and are constantly feasting on the family's cattle, sheep, and goats. They dishonor Odysseus and his family, taking Athena's advice.
Telemachus.
Travels to Pylos for word of his father. Meanwhile, on Ithaca, the evil suitors plot to kill Telemachus when he returns.
Good. So that's just a little bit of an overview of what we talked about yesterday. We know that Odysseus has been gone for a really long time. Telemachus is actually going to go to Pylos, a city across a little ways, to find information about his father. While he's gone, he says, if you suitors are not out of here by the time I get back, there's going to be some problems. Okay? So while Telemachus is gone, the suitors are going to try to figure out a way to kill him so that they can kind of take over. Now, when we talk about these suitors being evil, like, that's completely true. You have to imagine these guys, and there's a lot of them, coming into Odysseus' house, drinking all of his wine, eating all of his food, slaughtering all of his animals, making a huge mess, and harassing his wife. Okay, they're not polite about it. They're very, very piggish, and they're very misogynistic about the whole thing. Not the way to win over a lady, precisely. Okay?
That's the
So that's kind of the beginning of the story. Now we are going to fill out some of your literary terms, so go ahead and flip over to that. We're just going to go right in order. You should already have epic filled out.
Epic. Hold on. Sorry. Wait. What was it?
The next one we're going to talk about is epic plot.
What is that?
The second term. An epic plot involves a long journey full of complications. We've already seen a couple of the complications that Odysseus has faced, but that is the definition of epic plot.
Oh, Bendy,
Yes.
we forgot to finish our illusion thing or whatever it was.
That's okay, I think you guys got it.
Journey spelled like the band, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Involves a long journey full of complications. Now, it says that we're not going to fill in any examples, but what we're going to do is specifically state some of the complications that arise. So, what's one complication that we've seen so far?
They ate cows.
They eat Helios' cattle. Okay, so that can go in your examples
I
box.
have a question.
We're going to put quite a few of them, so make sure you write small enough.
That didn't,
So, like,
that didn't happen
I
in the
did-
middle of the book.
Right, but it's one of the complications.
are Odysseus' cattle like Helios' cattle too or something? Like, how does that
No, not quite.
well,
Helios' cattle are like sacred.
Yeah, well, them cows are sacred.
Why doesn't he like make something better, like different than cow?
I don't know, he likes cows. Give the dude a break.
Yeah.
Never float your boat.
He can
likes-
make.
Yeah,
like
but
a
if he
guy.
doesn't
Duck,
kill him,
don't.
then what's the point?
Yeah.
I don't know, he just likes to do it for fun. It's his hobby. Okay, so that's one of the complications, is that they eat Helios' cattle. What's another one that we talked about yesterday? What else keeps Odysseus from going home?
Oh, the island.
Oh, the
Yes,
oh,
Calypso.
those
He is
mermaids.
taken
scary
captive
things.
by Calypso.
Not the mermaids.
Those are the two that we've talked about so far. Calypso was a nymph. We haven't got to that yet.
No, the mermaids though.
There's not mermaids.
No, the thingy.
The siren.
Wait, but they only brought that up because that's what they remembered from something. We haven't read anything about that yet.
I read this in the 6th grade.
Okay?
Yeah.
So those are
I
two of the
learned this
complications. Those are two examples for epic plot that we have so far. The next one is epic setting. An epic setting includes fantasy or exotic lands and involves more than one nation. Now, if you remember from that map I showed you yesterday, Odysseus is all over the Mediterranean. He ends up in part of Africa. He ends up at the southern tip of Italy a couple times. He ends up in the islands all over in the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, so he's all over the place. He definitely goes to more than one nation. There are also some pretty weird places that he goes, and we're going to read about those as well.
Yeah, they are.
Those are the fantasy or exotic lands. An epic setting includes fantasy or exotic lands and more than one nation.
Was attacked by a monkey. Sorry. So, baby, have you ever got your wallet stolen by a caller?
Somebody stole $5 out of my wallet.
Mine has the best story about what happened to him in the wall.
Okay, ready? The next definition is epic hero. An epic hero is a hero.
That is epic.
Epic hero is a hero with a special skill.
I know.
One of their
What is Odysseus' special skill or
He is-
skills?
No, we didn't talk
He's immortal,
gods.
except for his name.
Oh, that's Achilles. Did I say Achilles?
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Odysseus. My bad. My bad.
Sass.
Oh, you're good. He's really, really smart. He's cunning. Okay? Now, there's a difference between smart and cunning. He is smart. He knows things, but it's the way he uses it.
He blinks.
He uses it to his advantage. He's very cunning. He's good at strategy. Yes.
Snapchat.
So that can go in your examples for epic hero. Odysseus is an epic hero, and his special skill is his